sure do wish I'm not forgetting something again. Um, we got Credo, we got Ops, we got yeah. Okay, that going, that's going. All right, I think we're good. Are we good? I think we're good. Um, I was originally going to do this person pixel art journeys nose sketch thing, but I just felt like the nose shapes weren't really, I mean, they're great, but like they're not really what I want. But I did like that they had so many angles. So I'm gonna look again for a second to see if there's something like that I can maybe use. There was another one that was like a bunch of eyes as well from someone else. I feel like I'm having trouble. Here it is. This is Heart to Note. So they got like a ton of eyes here. It's like they're very like cutesy faces. The eyes work really well. Like the whole thing works really well artistically. But like the nose, well, there's really no nose, but the mouth space, right, is very small. Again, it adds to that like whole cutesy vibe. And I'm not sure that I'll get quite the lesson I'm hoping for out of drawing these. So I don't really know what to go for at this point. Um, I feel like the best thing I actually saw was someone's reference page, and they have like their art tags and whatnot for it. So I believe it is for like people to draw, but I don't know that I would consider what I'm doing drawing. I think it's for like fan arting. But like I said, I'm more trying to learn off of it. But their reference page is just of like their VTuber model, so um I don't know. I feel like it's gotten weirdly really hard for me to find things. It's either people advertising their art book, how-to books, or shit posts. So I guess I must like too many shit posts. Um, Jesus. We need I need something that's like the reference page, but like from multiple angles. And maybe our book is the only place I can find that. Let's not click adult content, whatever that is. Usually it's just a shit post, but you never know. Mostly, mostly, huh? That's just a bunch of sketches. Man, I wonder if I could take like my 3D model and just take screenshots of it at different angles. Maybe that's what I should do. That might be the smart way to do it. It's not that I necessarily intend to like always have this model, but like that'll give me like a reference thing to do. All right, we're running out of shit. Here's what I was thinking. Maybe we just like do a speed, I don't know about speed with me, but like a speed sketch of like the noses and the eyes and just see generally what we do. I did see this. This person has like a couple of eye things, but I first off, most of it's in Korean, which is unfortunate for me. I mean, I obviously barely speak English, though I certainly don't speak Korean or can read it. But I don't know. I don't feel like when it is in English, I understand what the hell they're talking about. So uh, it must be some of that fundamentalist shit that I don't understand. Recently drew various eyes. Yeah, I mean this is kind of decent, but it's not extreme enough of an angle. So I saw, I think this, but it's just like a single eye. Like that doesn't really help me for the most part, I guess. Not that it, their stuff has to help me. I saw like the shading one, which I think, funnily enough, Moo also sent me. And I thought about doing it. I figured what I'd do is I'd just draw the base head and then I'd copy and paste it and then work on shading on that. But like, I don't know. It's I feel like it's very helpful for lighting direction, but like not that helpful for different directions. You know what I mean? Like it only really got me from this and the exact opposite because I can just flip it. And I don't even feel like I can take advantage of it. I saw this one once again. It's just single eyes, so I don't know if it's gonna help me enough. It's also like almost exclusively the right eye. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we do what I said. We'll just speed sketch some shit and pray. So like the eyes on this from Heart a Note. I don't know. Heart to Note. I don't fucking know. Um, I feel like the eyes are very expressive and generally they're pretty face on, but there's quite a handful that are like angular enough that I feel like maybe it can help me with like expression and like some side view. But there's like not a whole hell of a lot here to like work off of. And like I said, the mouths are just like super scrunched up. And they look, like I said, they look super cute, but that doesn't help with like one of my bigger problems, the proportions of things. So I was thinking maybe I just draw the eyes, forego the mouth, but like just quick sketch it. I think that's what I might do. We'll just try and get like a bunch of these eyes down just to like do it, you know? And then we'll probably do the same thing with that nose thing. And I might like it's more to get the angle of noses. I get that those were like more realistic noses than anime noses, but like it's the angles that I have a hard time being extremely consistent with. I mean, I'm not extremely consistent with anything, so that would be the main issue. Okay. Trying to solve what they did here to make this work for them. I'm thinking what I'll do is a very rough sketch and then maybe like a lark color combo just to like get something going. Ow. See, this is one of those consistency things I was talking about. I don't feel like our eyes really match here. God damn it. Hold on, let me turn the fan on. It's fucking hot in here. Bro, what the fuck? Tracker boy, what the hell are you doing? That wasn't cool. Alright. I don't think that should be particularly picking up on mic. This is a very directionally based mic, but I'm sorry if it is. Um, like literally, you're supposed to have to be like right in front of it or so close to it that it can still pick it up. And the fan is across the room, so hopefully we're good. All right. So let's do this. Let's increase Dico. We'll do that. Jesus. Why was that so shaky? Oh, wait. I'm drawing it. Never mind. I feel like I really like doing the like large sheets that take me a couple days now because it gives me something to just stay focused on as opposed to like feeling the pressure to pick something to draw or to sketch, I guess, and like try and get somewhere. Okay. We'll do one more. Okay. What if I just do this? I don't know. I don't feel like this is actually working for me. I don't know. We'll see. Lart. It's actually Pico Dico. Let's do that. Switch to that. Switch to that. Switch to that. Hit him with it. Switch to that. Switch to that. Interesting. Nope. Okay. Not quite what I was hoping for. Think that's our best yet. And then we'll switch to this. I know they do like a white thing. I think for the most part, I should stick with what's been working for me. We're trying the light on the bottom though, because I think I did talk about at one point how I think light at the bottom would oftentimes make more sense. So we're just gonna use this more as like a expression guide and then try and maybe work on our own things because it's not really gonna help me otherwise, I don't feel like. All right. I feel like there's just a huge, for me, a huge gap in the, I guess, how do I put it? The sharpness here. Does blending help at all? Not really. If I just like blend everything. Yeah, that looks like ass. I don't know, am I crazy? I see this a lot in like anime eyes, and I do kind of feel that way about most of them. But like something about this, it's like it's such a major contrast that I don't feel like it's working for me. If I maybe like do this, will that soften it? I guess a little, but like I don't really feel like that's the right effect. All right, we'll leave that and we'll work on the other eye for a sec. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. It could just be I'm not picking a good color for most of this. Wouldn't be surprised, right? If I just change opacity real quick. There we go. And we change to that. Okay, so we're roughly like this, I think. Do 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 do. Okay. Now, if I do this, right, that kind of gives the impression that maybe some sort of light is shining from here. Well, I'm still using white, so that doesn't work. Right? I feel like maybe, but also this is way too high. That's like way too like that. So I kind of dropped the ball on it. But if I do this, I guess. God, this is not working. So now it kind of maybe gives off the impression that the light's coming from over here, and so we can take advantage of the fact that we made this mistake and live with it, I guess. I don't feel like this is helping me. I don't know. Maybe just this first one is going to be a problem for me or something. Because the next one is a lot more expressive and kind of angular. Okay. Let's just see what we can maybe do with this. Okay. This is working for me. Mm. You know, maybe going forward we do like extra eye stuff to make it feel a little better for us. So we do that. We maybe have something like that. Um, okay. Yeah, it's too much. All right. Okay. So let's try and lart this out real quick. I just realized I was already on 5, so not gonna be the cleanest lart. Or the cleanest sketch, I guess. Okay, so let's hide deco. Not too bad. All right, this one definitely feels like it's helping me a lot more. And again, I get that I'm not doing like the cheeks or the mouth for these, but like the placement of them, I don't feel like would help me anyway. I don't know. I guess I should just take the practice drawing a mouth as well, but even if it's not where I would feel it should be, but I don't know. It just didn't feel right. Wait, what happened to Lart layer for the last one? Didn't I do sketch, then Lart, then color? Or did I do color straight on sketch or Lart, I guess. That's right. Okay. So this is one of the harder parts for me is getting like the angle and then getting like the pupil placement and like the I guess iris shape right for stuff that's not head on. You know what? What if we just try and freehand color this in? Maybe that'll give me the control I should probably go for. Let's work with the same color, even though I don't really feel like this is a eye color people have. A little dark. Yeah, 5 is actually not gonna work for this, so that's too big. Maybe like 10. Okay. Okay. Why does this feel like I'm using a marker? I don't like it. Probably using the wrong pen type, but what the fuck am I supposed to do about it? Nobody told me. That's something I don't quite like about every art thing I've used. They'll say something, like it'll be called something, here's this type of pen tip. And then I'm just supposed to know what the fuck that means. Like you're supposed to already be a known, or I guess a knowing artist, I guess, before you can use these. Why did that not work? It literally locked me in to type it and then it didn't work. Like I'm just supposed to know words and stuff. It's not very beginner friendly. I know Krita does have their own like website sort of guide on how to use stuff. But It's not the same. Okay. Water. Need water. Okay, so let's try a little bit of this, a little bit of that maybe. Okay. Looking at theirs, they do it in right. They kind of invert things. So like the background's black, it turns to white, and then the pupils are white. I don't know if I guess agree. So this is how they've got theirs. Actually, it's more pointed than that. I don't know. Maybe we just hold off on that until we've got the other one drawn. Or colored, I guess I should say. This is where I feel like maybe I can learn something. I don't know if I've learned anything yet, but does that, if that makes sense? Like, you know, the just face on, okay, I kind of can get the gist of that. Plus I can cheat with like symmetry tool and then just slightly edit it so that it's not 100%. So face on, I feel like of course there's always something I can learn, a new technique, especially with like um the lashes and whatnot and eye shape. Absolutely. I'm not saying, you know, I'm beyond face on. It's just the style from this. I don't feel like there's anything I can learn from a face on of this style. It's just like a level of simple that there's not enough detail. It's literally just like two orbs. They're just like angled for some reason. And not angled like this, but like that, but still flat. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Alright, maybe we don't do this in the future. I feel like this is kind of making my hand hurt. Maybe I'm pressing too hard. But then it ends up kind of washed out looking. Yeah. A little too washed out looking. Yum. Jesus. Alright, I definitely need to mess with either the pressure sensitivity settings or maybe like some sort of pen setting. I should really actually start doing that because then I'd have a reason to use these buttons that I keep forgetting I even fucking have. I also believe there was an update to OBS recently that might make like a dual setup easier. So maybe I'll actually finally fucking set that up so that this makes more sense. Okay. All right, so let's switch to that. Let's switch to that. Okay. This is where I'm like, I really feel like I need to bring out Blendo Dico tool. So I'm going to do it. We're going to bring it out very, very small though. And we're going to try and avoid merging too much. But like those crossovers where it's like lighter in some spots just fucking kill me, man. My fingies. My delicious fingies. Okay. So how are we feeling? This is definitely lighter, which makes more sense if the light's coming from generally closer to us, I guess. Like if we're viewing it, that eye should be a little darker. Now that was an accident because I fucked up and I guess I was pressing too hard here. But that actually does make a little sense, right? Because something closer to you, if they're both being hit by the same light, if the light's coming from you or from your direction, you should have a little more brightness than something that's a little further away. Now, technically, if the light were coming from over here somewhere and like further away from us, this one should be darker. Even though I believe we should be getting like more light from this being that it's closer, right? I guess not necessarily it should be darker, but it should be darker than this. I guess this would still be darker, right? Because this being closer to the light doesn't mean that the light reaches our eye faster. Like, no matter what, the light will diminish less from the closer eye to, like, the distance to us. The position of the light, I think, matters more which eye or how bright the eyes appear in general, but not necessarily how bright they appear to us. So, like, this should be the same always, right? This one should always be slightly brighter for us. I don't fucking know. Okay. This is like a part where I feel like I really struggle. I don't know how to do the pupils. Because I feel like the pupil has to be generally centered in the iris. I know a lot of people stylistically just don't always match that. But for me, that's the way a pupil is. The pupil doesn't move around without the iris anyway. So I feel like that's something I have to do. I just don't know how to like keep it consistent while like maintaining the far look. And looking at these, I don't even feel like the OP did theirs. I mean, these look super cute. I love them, but I don't feel like they did the greatest job of it either because it just like looking at it, it looks like the pupils are looking at me. The irises are looking sort of forward based on how it is. Oh no. All right. We do that. We do that. So how does that look? Not great. What if we do that? And for this, we kind of got to do that. What if we just like increase that a little bit? Okay. We'll leave that for a sec. See, for me, it looks like this one's face on right now, and this one's like kind of looking that way. So like, this is like the direction of the gaze, and you know, let's be honest, that's actually the way some people's eyes are, but that's not what we're trying to do here. The question is this one wrong or is that one wrong? And what part is wrong? Is it the whole flatness of this eye? I feel like maybe this is too flat. Maybe if I cut it here and like add just the slightest bit of curve, would that change it? Actually, wait. Let's get rid of those first. We'll have to redo this as well, I think. Hold on. That was actually really good, but I forgot to change the opacity. But is it still not going to do it? Okay. Okay. I do feel like that somehow looks a little better, but it still kind of gives off the vibe that bro's looking that way, and now this one is looking more that way instead of head on. This is about the worst way you can do this, by the way. But actually, I don't need to do that. This needs to be like that, but this, I can actually go back to here and do that. Since we're currently on the old testing phase. Okay. Okay. So now maybe that to fix this just the slightest bit. It's a bit better, but I still feel like we're getting the vibe that bro's looking this way with one eye and that way with another. Um, how can we fix that? Also, let's see about hiding that. Well, I know we got that. It doesn't really help. This definitely does look better with smaller stuff. So what we'll go ahead and do is I think we can commit to it. So we can hide that. Um, I say hide that. Let's okay. So let's hide that for now. Okay. And then we should be able to just slurp that out. We should be able to just, you know. So now we can hide that. Holy smokes. All right. And we can do this. Okay. Now we can go back to that. We can maybe fill that in so it's not as blaringly obvious that we fucked up for now. Okay. All right, so let's clean that up hopefully a little bit. I think I'm spending too much time on this. I'm doing the thing where it's like, this is so unsatisfying, this is so unsatisfying, let me fix it, and we're not really making any progress. Alright, so this was the white thing, so we can just delete that now. Alright. So let's keep looking. How can I make it so that this pupe just gives off the slightest vibe that it's looking that way? Do I kind of cut it off? I mean, that doesn't really make sense to me, but maybe that's why it works. Doesn't work. All right. I think we just move on for now. Maybe this will help. Treat it as like an arrow telling you which direction it's supposed to be going. It doesn't help. I think maybe the direction of this also needs to be worked on. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. How are we doing on space over here? Oh, we got plenty of space. I feel like if I had something like a full-on reference to look at, I would probably do better. You know what I mean? Like, if I was just looking at what I was planning to draw, I would do fine. You know, it wouldn't be perfect, of course. Like, I can't one-to-one replicate something, but I feel like I'd be able to capture it a little better. although I'd still probably suffer in like on the inner eye at this point. But I mean, even if I do better at that, so like let's say I was talking about looking at that one VTuber's reference sheet because they have like the side profile headshot, and I thought that would be cool to just like draw the face, like draw the head on, and they had a couple different hairstyles for their thing, including like a braid, which I thought would be really difficult, which probably is, but like I still need hair practice too. So I was like, oh, that'll get me hair practice. That'll get me some like side profile and head on practice, right? And I was like, maybe I should do this, and I feel like that would help, but then like that doesn't necessarily help me for everything, right? That'll help me, but I feel like drawing a bunch of eyes and whatnot is better. That's like at a certain point, looking at something to draw it, which I'm still doing here, but looking at it um, is really only going to make me able to be like able to look at things and draw it, you know? Like drawing just the eyes repeatedly, I feel like, well, I can just transplant the eye knowledge I have into each thing differently and eventually like mix and match and make my own. But like if I just take a picture of, let's just take a picture of a cat, right? Okay, I draw the cat but while looking at the cat. But I feel like that's really only going to make me a little bit. I mean, it is good practice, and I do intend to do some of that. But I feel like that's going to more so make me better at just looking at a picture and drawing that picture. But I think like taking the component parts, right, the noses that I want to get to, the mouths, the eyes, kind of give me the practice I need to like make it my own eventually. You know? I feel like the drawing a reference with reference like a whole and like replicating that is good practice for consistency. And then like drawing like the eyes, especially as I don't really know how to do them, is good practice for, I guess, learning to compartmentalize and like do whatever I want wherever I want. So this is an interesting one that is not quite normal. I don't know. It's got like cut off eyes. I feel like I'm doing it at too extreme of an angle. It's like they're squinting. And if you look at the face in general, they're all sweaty. It's very strange. What the hell was bro cooking with this? Bro's over here squinting and shit. Squinting Tarantino. That's what I'm gonna call this face. Squinting Tarantino. Okay. And they have like this like large shady area of that. See, for me, drawing this, I get this is just a sketch. This doesn't look particularly good. But doing this, like as an exercise, I can add this now to any head shape and like adjust it, right? Once I get the hang of this, if that makes sense. But if I, like I said, if I'm just looking at a picture of something and I'm looking up and down and I'm like trying to replicate it line for line as best I can, good practice, good for consistency, might help me learn maybe proportions a little better. Um, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to end up with that, you know? And this is still the same in a way. I am kind of deviating quite a bit from a lot of what's going on, but this is the same in a way, but also like it is giving me like a part of a whole instead of just the whole, which I feel like I somehow learn a little more from. Maybe it's because it's a more focused. Huh? Give it back. It was good. What? Give it back. Get your bitch ass back here, man. Actually, not that bad. I will quickly just scoop you up. That should be fine. There you go. Thank you. Well, thank you for that. Selecto Dicko, deselecto Dicko. All right, we're not going to put the sweat beads. I'm hoping it's sweat. We're not going to put the... Well, actually, hold on. Let me just try and replicate this mouth real quick. What is this, bro? Wait, I kind of like that better than what they got going on. That's exactly what bro sounds like. I'm gonna leave that. I was cooking. In fact, forget the eyes. We're gonna focus on the mouth. This is fucking great. Still working the cash register. Sponge boy me Bob. No. Yes. Still have never seen a single episode of SpongeBob, by the way. Should I draw SpongeBob? Spunky Bobby? I kind of want to. So for the original, they didn't do the extra line out. I kind of want to do it because I think it's fucking funny. I think I'm going to. Where the fuck is my button, bro? Like, can you not disappear on me? Thanks. I think I'm gonna deviate. I'm a deviant. We're evolving. I don't think I've ever drawn anything quite like this. Oh my god. This is my favorite thing I've drawn so far. I might just leave it at this. I feel like if I keep going, I'm gonna fuck it up. I kind of feel like this should be one of those weird ones where the eye is just solid. Like it's just all iris color or something. I feel like every line I do is taking away from it. Am I wrong? And this took away for sure. I feel like maybe we can leave those. I don't know. That one's okay. Let's maybe move this one down a bit. Go up one. Do I want to color this in and how? No, not red. I don't know. I feel like it should be a darker color though. Just stick with blue. So we'll select a deco, blue, go back, select a deco, and blue. Okay. All right, so let's go with this real quick on blue. Actually, wait a minute. Should we? We'll probably go over this with a thicker black line, actually. What do we think? I think that'll be the play. So let's try and maybe do some white. Should we reselect Odico in here? And then go back. It'll just be cleaner if I do this. It's too much. If I just maximize opacity. Why is it just so not clean, man? Okay. Hello? Oh, that's right. We're locked in. Am I stupid? Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. I am stupid. Should we do the darker up top strat like the last one had been doing? Or is that, are we doing too much with that? We might be doing too much with that. Wait, that actually looks better than small, doesn't it? We'll leave it. Okay. Whip out our pupitar. Why is this so funny looking to me? Should we try and do the inside o Dicko, you know? Sometimes Dicko needs inside o. We'll just try and pull a color out of our ass, as is tradition. It's relatively colorful. Okay. So let's switch back to 2 before I forget. And then maybe switch to that. Switch to that. Whip out Blendo Deco tool. Try and blend it. Selecto Deco tool. Okay. So I guess I should probably just go do a new layer for this, but I guess let's do like a thickening layer. So we'll hit it with 4, we'll do it with black. And let's try and re-up the lart so that it's nice and clean. It should definitely have just been a different layer. Should have been like a deep layer. I was just being lazy. Fuck. If this were serious, this would be a detail layer. Which, you know what, it should be serious, even if it's just like kind of goofy ass practice. Shouldn't be being lazy about it. Come on. There we go. All right. I feel like this is our best one yet for capturing emotion. What this emotion is, I don't fucking know, but it's the best one. Even without the mouth, by the way, like, I cover that up. The eyes are very expressive compared to, like, I don't know, this is like okay-ish, and these are just like two fucking floating orbs. I might just lock these real quick, or I fucking completely fuck up again. Why is that so funny to me? I'm losing it. Okay, let's drop it down to 2, I guess. Okay. So this one's quite ecstatic, we'll say. Try and pull it off. We'll pull it off and we'll pull it out. Let's fucking go. What? Oh, brother. This guy stinks. It's me. I stink. Feel like I'm slowly getting larger and larger with these. I feel like it's harder to show this much without getting larger, though. Maybe if I zoom in, it'll... I did this with the mouths, I remember. Okay. Okay, so they did actually like a lot more angled to the edge here. Fuck. And then kind of gave it the curve that I've got going on there. This is actually more of like a devious type of ecstatic. This is like concerning. Okay, so they got that, and they got that. Interesting. Should we try and do the mouth too? Interesting. I've captured a completely different emotion, which is interesting because I have none. Alright. Holy shit, I perfectly selected 4 on accident. Hmm. Think that might be okay. Can always change that later. It's also not really the focus, although the reason I decided to start doing them is one, they've become a little more complex. I mean, it's not just like a line. Um, and also, you know what? I don't not need mouth practice, so, who doesn't like a good mouth job? So this one kind of has lashes, I think, but like it's just like five really thick lines that don't quite always touch. So I'm not sure if I should for myself go for them. I feel like I should because I just feel like I need practice. It's kind of the same reason we started doing the mouths. Like I just should do it. But I'm gonna have to just invent it because like I said, it's just four lines. Okay, so Sketcho Dicko has been removed. I don't like how not clean that looks, but it's okay. I think we'll do okay. Kind of looks like a jack-o'-lantern, doesn't it? Okay. Okay. So let's select a Dicko, switch a Dicko. We'll do blue again because I like blue. Fuck, we're on the wrong layer. Undo, redo, undo. Select you, redo. Yada da da do. Yada da da da. The Snoop D O double G. Ooh. Okay. Fuck am I doing, bro? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Switch back to this one. Yoink. Hit him with the old yoinky poinky, you know? Why is it like it can only do it? There we go. Jesus. It just kept doing the same fucking thing over and over again. There we go. Hit it, Fergie. Oh, brother. Honestly, I thought I was gonna fly through these because I was just kind of sketching them, but I feel like I keep getting stuck on things. These also don't like these are good for expression, but they don't feel like they're giving me what I wanted out of them. So like on the one hand, I can like I said, I can appreciate that I'm getting some expression out of them. On the other hand, I don't feel like I'm getting the the experience that I wanted, which was perspective, right? Angles. I guess maybe I will have to buy like a book. I've tried watching quite a handful of videos, by the way, and everyone just does the same shit where it's like draw boxes and draw boxes, but I'm just like at a point where that doesn't help me because it's just too many lines to follow. Like it ends up, hold on, we'll finish this one hopefully, and I guess I can show it now actually. So let's just create a quick little new layer that we can destroy. So it ends up kind of being like, okay, so I can draw that, and maybe, this is just going to be a sketch, I guess, right? No problem, right? This isn't even that hard for like the side view. That's probably the easiest fucking thing ever, right? But, when it comes down to like the face, whatever, they're always like, okay, so you got to draw your fucking box, and then you draw your circle in it, and then you draw that in it, and that's your thing, and then you got your thing here and that there, and then that's the direction of your hair. And I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at a certain point? And then they're always like, well, okay, so now you've changed the color to yellow. I'm like, what? How? First off, how the fuck do I even do that? Second, it's like you change the color to yellow, you change the opacity, and then you add a new layer and you draw over that for this, and then suddenly your fucking sketch, and like it's like a sketch, and a finer sketch to me looks like this, and I'm like, what? This isn't helping me at all. And it really just doesn't. All right, let's get that the fuck out of here, man. I don't know. They all turn out the same. I feel like everyone's suggestion, it just ends up being that. It doesn't help me. It just confuses the fuck out of me. For me, the whole thing I was saying that I didn't really want to do, earlier, is really all that seems to help me, right? Looking at something and going back and forth and actually like replicating it, you know? Like I I guess I just have to actually see the finished product to understand where it's going. I need to like reverse engineer things, I guess. Cuz like starting from the start is just too overwhelming. I feel like I need to start from the end to know what it is so that I can develop the vision, because you need the vision in order to know where the box is going. And you don't know where the box is going if you're new to art. Like if you're new to drawing, you don't know what the box is for. It's you just telling people you need to do the boxes and shit doesn't help them, because they're just fucking boxes. It doesn't do anything. It's why also I did finally like kind of find some things to just sketch off stream on the tablet, and they're just straight sketches. Like I'm not even going past that, and I'm just doing it as fast as possible to get as close as possible. I think that's the best thing for me, to where like I get it close to, you know, whatever, right? And then like I can just kind of hopefully get close out of my ass or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so I can just make it up. And of course, when I want to finally do it better, I'll be able to hopefully do it better. But I can just kind of throw something down now, right? And something I need to work on, obviously, is the proportions and the sizing and the perspective. But who do we have here? You know? Like 3 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to really slap something that even resembles anything like this down without just looking back and forth. Obviously, that's a very anemic person. Because again, proportions are one of the things I'm trying to work on. Why did I do it on this layer? Am I stupid? Right? No box is necessary at this stage, I feel like. It just is going to confuse the shit out of anyone who's a beginner. Stop telling people to draw boxes. There was someone I watched, and funny enough, I think I think Moon sent me one of their things about how to draw boxes. Um, but they're actually the only artist whose video did work for me. I usually don't watch them because they, like I said, they're so confusing. But PCat, I believe, is her name. Um, I had found her like 2 weeks before I discovered. No, a very popular YouTube. I don't know if they do anything else, but she had one thing for eyes that I really liked, and her quote, well, that I'm taking from her is, learning how to do fun things is more important than doing the fundamentals, right? Like, I think she said it, I think in a couple of videos. Learn fun before the mentals. So like get something going. Like learn the skills before you learn the basics, because if you just don't, like, it's like I said with Krita, I don't know what almost all of these brushes do because they're named something that has no meaning to someone who's relatively new to art, right? You can't just throw things at people and expect them to know it. And it's like, draw your 500 boxes from 500 perspectives. See you in a week. Fastest way to burn yourself out, right? You're just not going to enjoy it, and your tablet or whatever, your sketchbook, is going to sit there and gather dust because you don't want to draw boxes. So I say, draw your furry shit or your anime girls or your hentai or whatever, and enjoy yourself, and it's going to look like shit, but it's not going to get any better unless you try. All right, let's let's stop freaking the fuck out, shall we? I forgot which eye video it was. I think I watched two of them and one of them didn't work for me. I think that might have been the one that Moose sent me later. That's like a bunch of box based things. I just don't get the boxes. Like, they don't work for me. It's just like I said, I need to keep developing the vision before I'm able to like start from scratch, I guess. I mean, that's been the whole point of this, right? I mean, there's probably someone out here who can tell you who that character was that I think I've sketched like 3 times now. Sometimes that's as far as I get. Sometimes I go I've drawn like the whole character. But someone probably can tell you who that is. Um, but I felt like they were a good practice character because they only had one eye shown. Um, but they had like a lot of hair, and it did like funny things that I didn't really understand at the start, but I'm starting to understand now that I've done hair a couple times. And there's no fucking chance, if I didn't do the last exercise and start drawing the hair, there's no chance I would have ever fucking understood it. But I've started to understand it. We have like a 4 layer hair technique that is okay. It's not great. Is it the best solution to hair? Probably not, but that's been our technique, and it does actually sort of do something. Did I There it is. I was gonna say, did I lose Lart layer? What layer is this? This is why you should name your layers, by the way. Okay. Let's get inside that mouth. Open wide. We're getting inside that mouth. All right. Whew. Okay. What if we just maximize lays? Hello? There it is. Hey. Brusho Dicko. Feels like it's been so long since we've done mouth pages, hasn't it? It's been what, like a month? More than a month? No. Get back here. Get over here. Hit him with the Zumo Dicko real quick. Not to be confused with Dicko Zumo. You don't want a Dicko Zumo. That shit won't hurt. But Zumo Dicko's okay. Right before we did mouth page, which just involved us drawing mouth over and over again in different shapes, there's no chance I would have even been able to remotely do something like this. And a lot of this is actually us winging it. This doesn't really quite look like the original. Right, there's no chance we'd be able to wing this shit. Hmm. Okay. It looks so funny. All right, all right, all right. Okay, let's keep going. I wanted to do some lash action with this. Now, this was a weird one. So let's maybe try and pull that off. No. Let's do that, and then that, and then that. And if we had never done some of the eye pages, we absolutely would not have this technique. You wouldn't get that, like, ball feeling if you just keep doing boxes. I don't know. I feel like the order of operations has to be the other way around. Otherwise, you're just going to lose it. Maybe that's just me. Could just be me. That's fine. Okay, so they just did kind of like thick ass lines a couple of times. Um, I don't know. I don't feel like my lines are clean enough for that. Let's drop it back down to maybe 4. Let's get a little zoomed. We've never done lashes like this, I don't feel like. So, what if we just kind of hit them with it? I think part of this problem is going to be as a relatively face-on deal, it's going to be really difficult to get like a flow feeling going. So we're going to mostly, I don't know, it's going to feel like too long in areas. I feel like it's going to feel too flat because we don't really know what we're doing. And this is one of those things where I won't know unless I try or have something to work with. I don't really have anything to work with here. So I'm just winging it with like what I know. And I feel like if I do this, this is going to give me like the information of like what I do wrong here, right? Like I know this is probably going to ruin it, but I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I I didn't try. This is like the opposite of boxes. I think we're going to do the white technique from the last one. Not the last exercise, if you want to call it that, that I did. Not the last thing I did today. So we're going to draw this, and then we're going to just put a little bit of white over some of the spots in the hopes that that kind of creates like a feeling. Okay. It's really hard to visualize how this is supposed to be looking, especially since I feel like we kind of should have something here, like the edge of the eye. Okay. Too big. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. I feel like it gets the point across, but it's not great. There's something missing about this for me. Also, what is that? Get out of here, bro. Should I undo that? Should we leave that? It's a mole. Kind of want to do that, but we'll not. There's not enough curvature to it. Let's go back to Lart and maybe scoop that out. It's that flow I'm talking about where this is just such a flat space here. Same with under, that it's just like it doesn't feel right to me. It feels like it's missing like a ton of character. But like there's only so much I feel like I can and should do. Otherwise it's going to start feeling too thick. And I think that's probably a scale issue. So that's something I have to work on, the scale issue. How's that? It's a bit better. It feels more like I messed up a line here right now, though. So let's maybe... No. I gotta keep with the flow of it. So it's gotta stay like top, up and down. That's how it's gotta be. I don't know if that's necessarily right, but that's like the only thing I feel like that breaks up that blockiness of it. And this feels like just too weak. There's not enough going on here. So let's maybe try and thicken this. Once again, it feels like it's getting the point across, but I just don't, I'm not satisfied with that. I don't know. It's like somehow too thick and too thin for me. I don't know how to explain it. Something's just missing about this. Should we leave one eye done and one eye undone? No. Let's try a different technique for this side. So let's just try thick from the jump, thick from the jump, and then we'll try and cut it down. So then we'll scoop that out. That's a little too much there. And then we'll scoop that out maybe. Okay. Whoa, okay. My bad. All right. So now we switched to about 5, I guess, or 4, whatever. And then maybe I should have done the lashes. So here was my thought process. This is kind of like you're maybe laughing and your eyes are like closing, you know, because you find it funny. Maybe some people like cry when they laugh or like close their eyes completely. I figured the lashes should go like that. They should go like over the eye because the lid should be in the process of closing, right? And so the lower lashes should, of course, be, well, whatever, doing whatever lower lashes do. But I feel like the top one should be coming down, right? The flow of it should be like that. But aesthetically, would this look better? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. like I said, I feel like the flow of it for me is that they're laughing like this, and therefore the lids are closing, and therefore it should look more like that. Okay. Feel like maybe this is too long. I really hate that this somehow has ended up kind of blending with that, but now I can't like undo it because I fucked it up. What if I just like, you know, and then like that, and then maybe like that instead, and then maybe undo that. What am I fucking doing, bro? It's just, it's just not right. Something about this just doesn't feel right to me. What if we add the white? Does that help at all? All right, we're cooked. We definitely got some more work to do on the lashes. That's always been our weakest point. I feel like what like that, and obviously, you know, the angles. But like for face on, that's been our weakest point. I'm just not quite sure how to do it without making them look either too thick and like bushy, or like too straight. Like I gotta get the flow of the ball better. The ball's gotta flow. But I think I'm gonna just back off. I'm gonna get off for the day. Um, I think we started out kind of ass, but we quickly got a little more promising. Um, I don't know. I think maybe I'll speed. I tried to be pretty quick about these, but I kept getting caught up. I wanted to like mostly sketch them. Maybe I should avoid the color and just kind of go for them in the future. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get off for now. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you. I think I do like the expression we're learning here, but I think this didn't quite get me what I wanted out of like the angles, because I feel like learning the angles and like perspective would also help me with the lashes, like to get some lash flow going. But anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, uh, bye.